everyone, I'm hoping this is working. I'm again just testing out some of the features to see if this is working correctly. But hey, welcome to another Spodcast. It is just me this week. John seems to have had technical issues, but will hopefully be back at some point soon. But yeah, thanks for joining me. Hope everyone's good. Please use the chat to talk to me. I'm hopefully going to be getting it where the chat is actually going to display as we are talking. Hoping this is going to work. We will soon find out as time goes on. But yeah, so let me see if I can get this up and running. But yeah, this episode we are going to be talking about Loki episode 2, which had a very interesting ending. My chat has signed me out, so I can't even reply to you all. How terrible. There we go.
If you're doing online meetings...
Let's see if I can get this working now. But yeah, I think it's been very interesting. Let's do this. Hello everyone. Let's see if it actually pops up on my little chat. I don't think... Oh, there it is. It is kind of working there, which is pretty cool. It's a bit stretched, it seems, but we can work on that. We can work on that. That is something we can do. Let's see if I can get this to work properly, because it's deleting all the chats. That means we can chat to each other. But yeah, so let's get started with the episode today. And the first thing that I want to talk about is the show Loki. Yeah, it has been absolutely brilliant to watch Loki. And one of the key things which I've enjoyed about Loki the most is the dynamic between Loki and Morbius. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't know what you've thought about Morbius's dynamic with Loki, but I think it's been absolutely exceptional. It's been a brilliant thing to watch and to see, and yeah, I think they've absolutely blown that dynamic away. I just don't know how they could make it any better. I think Tom Hiddleston is really shone. He's really stood out with his dynamics, his attitude, the more fun side of Loki. We are definitely seeing more of the god of mischief with this show, and him trying to push Morbius's buttons, see what you can get away with. And Morbius is more than a challenge for him, which is really interesting. I think Owen Wilson's been a great addition to the Marvel Universe, and just in 2 episodes, they've absolutely nailed it with their dynamic, their relationship, and I can see why they need a season 2 of this. I think they've just been really good fun to watch on screen. The story has been very interesting. It was actually quite nice to get out of the TVA in episode 2 in Visiting Pompeii 1985. Trying to think of anywhere else, and also in the future where a tsunami type hurricane was wiping out some of Texas, I believe. But it's just been visually stunning. Just the looks of the TVA, how it has a mixture of the past and future, and basically just the character dynamics, I think, is what's making the show stand out. And some people may disagree or agree, I think some of the dynamics of Falcon and Winter Soldier just weren't there. not between Falcon and Winter Soldier themselves, but just the rest of the cast. Whereas with this, straight away, we have a really interesting and fun dynamic, which I can see getting even more interesting in the next episode with the introduction of this character. Now, they are calling her Loki. Fans are calling her Lady Loki. And sorry, guys, spoilers if you haven't seen it. But hey, it's SpoilerTV. What do you expect? And yeah, I think we've only had her on screen for a short amount of time, but already is starting to show that it is a foe to be dealt with. However, this is where I disagree with a lot of the theories and the talk online in calling her Lady Loki. I don't think she is a variant of Loki. There are certain things which are making them too dissimilar, and one of the things that is standing out for me is something similar to Wanda and Agatha is the use of magic. This character is using their hands like Agatha and Wanda, or to manipulate the nexus, as it were, to their sort of control. Now, you'll also notice that, we'll call her Lady Loki because that's what I'm calling them right now, is manipulating people's minds, very similar to Agatha and very similar to Wanda, which makes me think that this is not a Lady Loki variant. I think this is a different comic character, and I think it is going to be the Enchantress, which is a character who was created by Loki in the comics, which I think would be a lot more interesting and will tie into Wanda and Doctor Strange, because they are shown witch-like qualities, they are shown the energy. So we've had Agatha with purple, Wanda with red, and now we have who I think is the Enchantress with green. So I think that is going to be a bit of a twist, and that they are going to be a similar type of witch or being to Wanda and Agatha, and that is the direction that they are going to go, which would then directly tie into the Doctor Strange film, which has been said to be very strongly linked to the Loki series. So those are my thoughts on Lady Loki, as it were, but I would love to know your opinions. Please let me know in the chat or in the comments so we can discuss them in a bit more detail next week. So that is just my quick thoughts on Loki, and obviously I think the show is absolutely brilliant. Now, next up, and just to kind of finish off some news, we kind of briefly talked about this last week, but E3, huge gaming event, and it always has ties into TV as well, because a lot of these games always transfer into TV and be made into shows, and plus it's always good to know what games are coming out in the future. So what games have stood out to me for E3? Well, first up, it's got to be said, Zelda. The Zelda sequel to Breath of the Wild was announced by Nintendo. This is a highly popular game on the Switch. Everybody absolutely loves it. And it's interesting to see that they are going with a sequel, which is going to be set more in the sky, which is very interesting, how they're going to be set in the same world, but just have it that little bit higher. Now, I've got to be honest, I have not played the first Breath of the Wild. I'm a bit behind. I need to get that on my Switch, people. I really do. But yeah, hopefully we will get a chance to play that, and then we'll get to check out the sequel. But I think that is an absolutely brilliant announcement for Nintendo. It's what people have been wanting. And one of the ones which got me really excited, and links obviously to TV and movies, is that Square Enix, the creators of Final Fantasy and the Marvel Avengers game, have announced a Guardians of the Galaxy game. Now, I know a lot of people have been disappointed with the Avengers game, and it may be not what they expected, But from the trailer of this Guardians of the Galaxy game, this looks very, very close in tone to the Marvel movies, which I think this game needs. It looks like it's going to be a very fun, unique game. It's going to have very similar dynamics to Mass Effect, where you make choices based on conversations, which will then lead to the story and elements of the game changing, which I think is a very interesting dynamic. And again, I think it helps lead towards the storytelling. So I think that'll give it kind of a bit of a nicer twist than the Avengers game. And hopefully Square Enix have took a lot of feedback on board from people's complaints and frustrations with the Marvel Avengers game. And hopefully we will see a well-rounded Marvel game, very much like the Spider-Man games, which are some of my favourite games on the PlayStation 5. It's the only 2 games where I've actually platinumed. That's how much I absolutely love and adore the Spider-Man games, Miles Morales, and obviously the original Spider-Man. So please check those. Now, indie games are a huge part of E3, and one of them really stood out to me, and that is Planet of Lana. Artistic wise, it just looks absolutely brilliant. Different take. It's a 2D, 3D, and 2D, but 3D sort of environment where this character and their pet are on this planet, and it is invaded by aliens, and you have to work your way through the levels in order to avoid them and solve problems and help out other characters. I just thought this is a very visually unique game. I just love the styling of it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what this game entails and maybe hopefully playing it as well. Another game which has probably stood out for probably the wrong reasons, and that is a Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise. Now, why has this game stood out in the wrong way? Well, the trailer was interesting in the fact that it just constantly talked about chaos. If you get a chance, check out the trailer. It's good, don't get me wrong, it looks amazing. The demo is actually out and available now, but the amount of times that they say the word chaos is absolutely crazy. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, make sure that you check that out as well. I thought that was a really interesting game, and I'm going to try and check out the demo very, very soon. Next up, game-wise, from Xbox, it's probably the biggest title when you talk about Xbox, and that is the next series in the Halo. So that is Halo Infinite. There's some worries about whether or not that the graphics were up to standard when they first showed the trailer for this, but they announced more of the multiplayer, they showed a few more of the cutscenes and some of the action, and it looks much, much better now. Now, they are saying it is coming up in fall 2021. They have not set a specific date, so I'm still thinking it's going to be early 2022 that this game is coming out. I'd love it if it comes out just before Christmas. What makes this really interesting is this game is a day one on Xbox Game Pass. Now, if you're unaware on what Xbox Game Pass is, Xbox Game Pass is basically a paid-for subscription where you get access to lots and lots of games. And they've announced that Halo is going to be available from day one. So if you pay for Game Pass, which is a monthly fee, you will get access to the brand new Halo from day one, which is a really exciting thing to do. The multiplayer is going to be free to play as well. Halo is something I haven't played for many years. I haven't played the original Halo since it first came out on the original Xbox. So I was thinking, because they are potentially making a Halo TV series, that I will jump back in and play some Halo live on stream. So that will be on Tuesday and Thursday night. So please come along. That's 10:30 p.m. BST, and it will also be, let me just check my little timings because I've already forgot. That would be 10:30 p.m. BST, 5:30 p.m. ET, and 2:30 p.m. PT. So if you like Halo, or if you like seeing what games are like and compared to computer games and TV, please come along, check it out. You'll probably see me completely and utterly fail at playing it. Next bit of news is linked to Xbox, which I thought was something really, really cool, and that is that Xbox have made their design lab available again. So this feature allows you to go online and it allows you to design your own Xbox controller, changing the thumbsticks, the D-pad, the buttons, the front, the back and the triggers, which is a really, really cool feature. Now, one of the things that I absolutely loved about this feature is that you can make it unique. And I thought, what would TV characters actually have as Xbox controllers? So I thought I'd design some Xbox controllers like TV characters. So first up, I had to go with one of my favourite shows, and that is, what would the Xbox controller like if Lucifer was to use it? So here is my design. Obviously, it has to be smart. It has to be sleek. You've got to have a bit of the red in the devil, but also he likes to wear his dark suits. As you can see, the back's grey, the front's black, and it has that nice unique design. So that is what I think Lucifer would have as an Xbox controller. Next up, from The Office, Dwight Schrute. So again, he likes his greys, he's off yellow, off green suit shirts, and I think this would be the perfect Xbox controller for Dwight Schrute. Also, we have The Witcher, very popular on Netflix. The Witcher, I went with more of a light grey idea to go with his hair, but also still has that dark element to go with his design and bodysuit and armour. And you know fine well, if I had to put an engraving at the bottom, it would be, because that's his favourite line. Next up, I thought we'd hit some Marvel. So we have Wanda from WandaVision. And again, you'd have your mixture of your reds, your purples, your pinks to go with the outfit, and obviously orange triggers to go with her red hair, which is a very nice design for her. I thought that's very nice. Then you had to go with Captain America, the Falcon variant, which obviously is your red, your whites, and your blues, which I think would be very fitting for him. Loki, gotta go for Loki, which is then your greens. There we go, our Loki greens. Very matching of his outfit in a future episode. Then, obviously, if you do Marvel, you've got to do DC. From Titans, which is coming out, which we're going to talk about that very soon, you have Nightwing with your dark black and your blues. You've got the Flash. The Flash there, you've got your reds, and I thought he'd want some colourful buttons just to go with his personality, his fun, bubbly personality. And then, as you probably just spotted, you've got to have Superman, but I managed to make the back look like it's actually his cape. So, I would love to know, if you were to design an Xbox controller, what would yours look like? Which brings me on to the debate of who is winning the controller wars. Obviously, people love to argue PlayStation 5 and Xbox. PlayStation 5 have just released 2 new colour variants, the black and the red, which look very, very smart, very, very cool. But Xbox have released the design side where you can make your own. Such a tough choice, and when it comes down to it for me, I love them both. I really love the black design of the PlayStation 5 controller, but there's something about that red that just stands out and makes it a bit different. But I also love the fact that the Xbox controller, you can design your own as well. So, yeah, those are some gaming news. Xbox controllers, PlayStation 5 controllers, all have come out this week. Now, jumping back to TV, we've talked about Titans, but Titans released a Season 3 trailer this week, which was very, very interesting in the fact that it hinted at Joker being around. We got to see Bruce Wayne again. I've got to be honest, I am a bit behind in Titans, but from that Season 3 trailer, it's looking like it is going to be a very jam-packed season. Can't wait to see what they come up with. It's probably one of the strongest DC shows now. I know there was a lot of complaints and a lot of people not very happy, but I think it's become a very unique take on the DC universe, and it's great to see that it's still going strong in season 3 and covering some really interesting material. And finally, because this is just a very quick Spodcast, just a quick 30-minute one, we also got a glimpse at The Witcher. Again, Netflix have released a very short teaser of what they expect in season 2. There was a lot of skeletons, there was a bit of fighting, and there was also a hint at another bathtub scene. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to The Witcher season 2. I'm looking forward to a proper trailer, which must be imminent anytime soon. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But yeah, that is it. This was just a very quick Spodcast this week, just a quick roundup. It's obviously the off season for TV, which means there isn't that much TV news. Hopefully we'll be back next week with another roundup of some of the biggest news. So please check back for that. And obviously check back for my midweek streams where we'll be playing Halo to get prepared for Halo being made into a TV show. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed that quick roundup. And we will see you. And I've lost my little goodbye button. Isn't that annoying? I thought I'd set it up. And this is why I do all of these things in advance and still end up somehow messing it up. But hey, that's the Spodcast. Things never go right. Thank you. And I'll catch you next week.